Welcome to Retro Scale Modelling. This is part 4 of Revell Star Wars Millennium Falcon. Scale is 1:144 and it's the limited edition Master Series kit. So in parts 1 to 3 I began with showing you what was in the box, putting the cockpit together in part 1, part 2 I was adding a bits and pieces, and part 3 I closed up the fuselage. So in part 4 I'm going to be doing a lot more detail painting and putting all the little finishing touches to the build. So let's jump in and see how well I get on. To start off with the detail, I'm going to be working on the side component here, and I'm using Revell Aquacolor 330 Fiery Red, and it's only 2 little strips of red on each compartment here that I'm painting in. There's 2 very thin lines. If I hold up to the camera, you may be able just to pick out the red. As I said, it's 2 very thin lines. There's also 2 locator lights to paint, and these are for this is the front paneling of the two prongs of the Falcon, and it's just 2 little red dots I'm painting in. So one for one side, and the other for the other side, of course. So again, if I zoom in, you can see the dot. It's not very clear because camera's on the maximum zoom there. So before I get to assemble these parts, just have a look at the engine there. All the glue's been dry. Now that was overnight, so I'm quite happy with that finish. So it's now time to put on the panels, and the 2 front ones I've just painted, just pop on. There's a nice little location point for them just to push on. So you can see them there. I thought at first there was tiny little gaps, but there wasn't. I just hadn't pushed them in firm enough. So the next part to get placed in are the side panels before I put the main unit in. You can see the location hole there, or point for it to go in, and like the first front panels that I placed in, these also just get pushed in. Now all 4 panels of these are the same, so it doesn't matter if you get them out of sequence, they all fit in the same way. And then the main component can go in. Now the location point for them is just 1 big strip of plastic it anchors in. Again, it's going to need a little firm handling just to push it in, so there's no gaps. But it should go in and quite easily, really. But pushing it will just ensure that the gaps disappear. Otherwise, you will have about a 1mm gap, or maybe a little bit less. But it's not meant to be now. But if you do push them in, it will disappear. Onto the underside now, I'm putting on the covers for where the landing gear would come out. There's 5 in total, as you can see there. They're easy enough to put on. The front ones here, they will only go in a certain way. Both of them I managed to place it in the wrong. I had to take them off and put them in the proper way. That's one there. It just a matter of picking it out and swinging it around. But I mean, it all depends whether you want to have the feet in or not. I built the big one with the landing gear down, so I thought it'd be nice to have this one with the landing gear up. As I said in the previous video, I thought I would show you the landing gear anyway, built up, but I'm going to be discarding that. Now on to more detailing, and I'm using Revell Aquacolor 76 light grey for the first colour. Now this is a light flat grey that I'm using, and I'm just placing this on various areas around the hull of the ship. And of course that will be the lower and upper parts of the hull as well. So the next colour that I'm going to be using is Revell Aquacolor 36 Carmine Red, and just like the light grey, this will be going on various panels throughout the hull. Don't worry if you think these colours look a bit too harsh at the moment. They all get dulled down in the next process. Next colour to be used is Revell Aquacolor 88 Ochre Brown. Same with the grey and red. There's just certain areas that will be painted with that. Now you can refer to the box or online, what have you got to add, or you can just do it how you see fit. Doesn't really matter what markings you put on it, as long as you're happy with it. I should point out though that the a lot of people, including myself, when I've built the Falcon, I've used a normal yellow and not like an ochre brown. I was testing the ochre brown a couple of days ago for this build, and I decided I liked this colour better than the yellow, so hence that's why I put it on. Next colour I'm going to be using is Revell Aquacolor 83 Rust. Now you may think this is a bit of a strange colour to use, but this is the colour I use to dull everything down. And what I do is I'll take it a bit on an old brush, take the excess away on a bit of towel, and then just lightly go over the paneling colour I've done. This will haze out and phase out the colours and just give it a dirty look, a sort of blurred look throughout the shape. And also it takes away the harshness of the colour as well. And you can be as liberal as you want doing it this way. Effectively what you're doing is you're weathering your model as you paint, as you go along, making your little marks and scuff marks. The rust colour is really good for this. It's a processing technique I would recommend anyone having a go at. It can add so many dimensions to a kit. Doesn't matter whether it's a space vehicle, an aircraft, armour, whatever you like to build. Mastering these sort of little techniques will add so many different dimensions to your actual build. Next I'm using Revell Aquacolor 06 Tar Black, and like the rust, and taking a lot of my paint, just putting the bare minimum on the brush, and I'm just streaking it over the engine area to create the exhaust effect. Now again, it's up to the builder how dark or light you wish to go. When I was doing this tire trace, I think it may have been a little bit too dark, but I will sort that problem out. So what do you do if you've gone a little bit further than you intended? Well, I'm using Tamiya's XF55 deck tan, so that's the main colour of the Falcon that I'm using, and I'm just lightly going over, using the same technique, dry brushing as such, over the dark areas, just to bring that tone that black down a little bit, and also brings the main colour back into the shape. Next I'm using Tamiya's Weathering Master Series B, and I'm using the suit component here, and I'm just very lightly going over the panel lines. Not all the panel lines, just some, just making little marks along the panel lines just to get the individual panels to stand out, but not too much, highlighting if anything. Now of course this can be done with washes, but I prefer to use the pigments like this. That way I can control the depth and how much I want to put on, whether I want a darker one or a lighter panel line, or a mixture of both, which in this case I do. I also add the same technique to the saucer, the deflector dish, the arm, as well as the gun turret area. And now it's time to put these areas on. The gun turret as well, couldn't quite get to fit. There's a little lip of plastic inside that's meant to hook on like a conventional tank turret. So you place it on, then twist it, and then you've got a free moving turret. I couldn't get this to work. So in the end, I just snipped out the tags and then placed it in and held it with a bit of cement. It's a shame, but I wasn't really bothered about it not moving because it's a static model, so I don't mind if the guns don't move. Next to go in is the arm. There's a couple of location points for this to fit into. Again, I took mine off because I couldn't quite get it to fit. One pin I did actually break off, but in the end, to save mucking about trying to get it to fit, I just took them off and cemented it into place. I suppose I was a little bit more patient with it, I would have got them to fit. But the last thing to put on is the deflector dish. And as I'm putting this on, I'll bring this part to an end. This will actually complete the build. No decals going on, of course, because I painted the detailing in. But before I end, I'm just going to make up the stand. Now, I'm not sure whether I'll be using the stand. I may put this in a diorama at some point. So I'm just making this up without any glue or paint. So if you haven't done so already, why don't you check out the channel for my other builds? There's something there for everyone, I would like to think. If you like what you see, why don't you subscribe to the channel? And if you do, hit that notification bell. That way you'll be kept up to date with all my future builds, including this one, of course. Hit that like button. Don't be afraid to leave a comment. And of course, you can share the video. But for now, thank you all very much for watching. Bye bye.